Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. It's time for another edition of No Capes, where I talk about books that don't have to do with superheroes. This is for the week of December 3rd, 2014. Gonna jump right into the books. I got a lot of indie books this time around. Men of Wrath, issue number 3. You know, it's really strange. Jason Aaron writes this book, and I think I have this problem with all of Jason Aaron's books. It gets to issue 3 or 4, and my attention starts to wane. I feel like we're kind of plateaued somewhere, and it somewhat directionless. I mean, I know where this is going. I mean, I can see the direction it's going, but it just feels like everything kind of goes and then kind of flattens out for a couple issues, and I go, oh, I don't know, maybe I should read this in trade, or that sort of thing. And then of course issue 4 or 5 hits and it knocks my socks off. So I'm hoping that's gonna be the case with this, because I thought this was okay, but there wasn't a lot to it. I don't know, it doesn't, to me, it's a big long shootout, and clearly a conflict between father and son in here. And there's a few good lines and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. It was just an issue, nothing. It didn't feel like anything significant really happened in this issue. So I just don't know. I don't know. I may have to go back and read them all together again, or like I said, the next issue or the final issue of this comes out, and maybe it's gonna blow my pants off, and I don't know, I'll just be super excited, think it's great. But right now, it's not horrible, but it's just kind of there for me, is where I'm at with that. Low, issue number 5. This book is absolutely amazing. I love the art of this book. Ticini just is incredible. It's just amazing, the artwork that he does. The story that's in this is so incredible too. And I don't know how, it's hard for me to talk about it without saying cheesy in some sense, because lots of people, as cynical people anyway, go, ugh, hope, and get and kind of roll our eyes. But there's this story of hope that's in here, and optimism, and the way it's delivered, and the way one of the main characters in here, it looks at things and is trying to get where she needs to get to, and trying to advance what she needs to, and save her people, and save her family, and everything is just, it's so good. It's so good. Remender just nails something in this that isn't in any other book. In other books, they're supposed to be about hope or optimism, whatever. No, not like this. Not like this. The conditions that are here are crazy, and then you hear the word hope and optimism in the face of how deteriorated and deranged and depraved, that's the word I really wanted, depraved the places that they are in. You'd think, oh, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to operate in that way. It's just really cheesy. It's a very Pollyanna way of looking at things. And it's not, because the way Remender writes this is, it makes sense. You can see why she views things the way she does and whatnot, and it gives you a little bit of buy-in to that. And I just think it's really brilliant. Just really cool. And all the other sci-fi kind of crazy fantasy stuff that's going on. There's this underwater sea, these gladiator fights, and all this other incredible stuff that goes on here, and the politics and the machinations that are going on. All that's really cool too. I absolutely love it. But it's that optimism, hope thing that just is something that nothing else has, and I just think it's really brilliantly delivered. And I just love this book. It's my favorite, one of my favorite books, for sure. Humans number 2, go watch my Humans number 1 review. This is the same thing. It's just basically the same review. Biker exploitation type movie done in comic book form. Clearly, there's nothing significant about these people being apes other than it's the gimmick. Whatever. and this just feels like so many mid 70s bad kind of shock movies that and I don't think it's done well. I'd appreciate it more at the craftsmanship and the work if it did a better job of portraying that. I really think that's what it's trying to do, but isn't hitting that mark either. So I can at least appreciate it for that, even if that subject and that thing isn't my thing. I can appreciate the work that's done to make it that, and it doesn't even feel like that there. So that's about all I have to say about Inhumans. I don't waste time with it. Clearly it's dropped. Five Ghosts, issue number 14. Oh, look at that cover. Wonderful Golden Age looking type cover. Great stuff written on there. Night of the Hunter. Wonderful book. I'll keep saying it. It's just this awesome Saturday morning cartoon, Silver Age romp of a book. Not dumbed down Silver Age, but mostly action. Most of the story is told through pictures, not through lots of dialogue and thought bubbles and all that sort of stuff. Just really, really cool stuff with really, really cool art and really cool action and just cool fun. Quick read, but well worth it. Enjoyable. Wolf Moon, issue number 1. Colin Bunn horror story, artwork by Jeremy Hahn. Okay book. I like werewolves. One of the reasons I picked it up. They've kind of been, I don't know if they've been done to death like vampires are, but what all can you talk about with a werewolf story? This one has a little bit of a different twist to it. The lycanthropy, or whatever you want to call it, the becoming the werewolf seems to be contagious in some sense, and not in the sense that you get bitten and if you survive you turn into a werewolf. No, not that at all. It just, a full moon, somebody turns into a werewolf, they go rampaging for the 3 or 4 days the moon's at its maximum, eating and destroying everything as an apex hunter and killer on planet Earth, and then it's gone and you're back to being you with the memories, and possibly throwing up people's fingers or whatever, because there's plenty of that kind of stuff in here with it. And it's however it moves itself on to the neck to somebody else. Somebody else has it, and then they transform into it and whatnot. Some interesting story in here as far as the person who's hunting the werewolf. Has clearly had some experience, some own running. He's got scars on his face, his own running with the werewolves. His girlfriend / wife clearly has had also. He's this is his desperate last hunt to try and stop this whole thing off. He gets some shots at the werewolf, doesn't take clean shots, gets away, he questions himself over that. He's going to go talk to some other werewolf hunter. Really gory. Lots of people get their heads ripped off and shredded and gutted and spewed all over the place. So if you like that or don't like that, bear that in mind if you're interested in picking up the book. I think it's 6 issues, miniseries. Wasn't exceptional, but interesting. I'll probably pick it up because it's only the 6 issues. So, Hellboy and the BPRD, 1952, issue number 1. Great place if you're interested in Hellboy and the BPRD to kind of jump in without having to have your feet too wet in the Magnolia universe and be able to read it and get an idea of possibly what this whole world is like. Because this is the first missions that Hellboy actually goes on as a young adult with the BPRD. Fine story. I think BPRD is the actual BPRD book is a much better book than this is. Way more dynamic and more dynamic characters at this point. But this is interesting. Gets you a taste of it. I'm not a huge fan. I like Alex Maleev's covers and whatnot, but I'm not a big fan of his interiors. Never have been. He uses a lot of photo references, and for me, lots of times that photo reference gives a stiffness to the characters that I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, this is a decent first issue. Like I said, as a new reader, to wet your whistle, to get an idea what this is going to be like. For me, being experienced in the Magnolia universe to some degree, this first issue here, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm glad we're finally going to get this story. How did it all start? What were these first experiences like? That's going to be fun to see this young Hellboy instead of the kind of seasoned, punch the monster in the face and say, oh crap, a whole bunch. Hellboy of the later stories. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just not super excited by the art style that's on it. The other book I'm really excited by, Birthright. This is issue number 3, I believe. Yeah, issue number 3. Book continues to be just incredibly lively and have a lot of action to it and full of vibrance. It just has so much movement and energy, and I just love that about the book. Every part of it, whether we're looking back in the past of when little Mikey is first exposed to the fantasy world, or this rugged, bearded Conan, young adult Mikey who's, smashing cop cars with his sword and doing just, incredible stuff as far as that goes. That's all really great there and really exciting and really dynamic. And then we're starting to get these little bits and pieces of family dynamics that are interesting. Dad is all for helping this Mikey from, wherever he's from, fight whatever battle he needs to fight. The wife and mother is clearly not interested in that. She can't believe that this is Mikey. The older brother is going along because he thinks it's Mikey, but it's kind of like, and it's just amazing and whatnot. And yeah, the art in it is brilliant. And it's great. It's just very, very exciting. Both parts of the story are very exciting. The story of the old and the story of the new. It's all just really, really, really good, really good, really exciting. Once again, thank you to you guys, John DaCosta, Sleepy Reader 666. I think mostly those ones that talked about the most, to make me go and get those first issues to get on board, because it's just really, really exciting, really dynamic, and awesome. Okay, issue number 45 of The Sixth Gun, and there is Becky amongst the sea of mud men. And 5 more issues after this left, and this is all over with. Amazing story in here. So exciting. You can just feel the apex of this giant thing that is the Sixth Gun and this whole story cresting. It's getting right about there. Some of our good guys have fallen apart amongst this, and we just don't know how it's all going to land out in the end. The seal for the whole for the changing of the world has been lubed basically, and on the blood of innocence, and we just don't know what's going to happen next. We're right about there for this to potentially, open up the seal, go into hell, and change the world to who knows what. And are our heroes going to make it or not? I don't know that they are. This has been such a rugged road. It's just very, very exciting. I'm going to be sad to see this book go, but I am so enjoying it. It's just amazing. And we're, like I said, right at the cusp of some incredible stuff happening. You could feel it. As you read, you could just feel it in your whole body and in your head. This thing that's just right there. Where is it going to go? What spring is going to pop? And what direction is it going to explode? For good or for bad? Or something in between? I don't know. There's so many options as to what's going to happen here. And I like thinking about them all. The book makes me excited to ponder all those and to see what's going to happen. Great stuff. Happy to have rode this entire series out. Just amazing, great stuff. And finally, this time, names issue number, I want to say 4. Issue number 4. Interesting. I still don't know exactly what I think of this book. There's clearly everything's going along. The surgeon's, completely gone rogue, killing who he wants to. Sometimes he kills some of the names, the people that employ him. We find out that he's got psychopaths kind of seeded throughout the names, and there may be a revolt going on here. We've got our 2 main characters, the young wife and her stepson, who are trying to put the pieces together and expose the names and find out exactly what her husband was up to, this whole thing. There's some odd stuff in here. As I continue to talk about this book, there's this kind of, the stepson has this sexual thing for his stepmother, which, clearly she's, a gorgeous looking woman, so that it makes sense in a way, but they've just been kind of playing with that. and we get some pretty significant exposure by the end of this thing, which I don't know where that's going to lead to and whatnot. I thought that was kind of odd. I'm not exactly sure what I think of that. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm going to be reading it again, I'm sure, once the whole thing's done, and decide how I feel about that part. I mean, I get it. It's interesting, but I'm not sure. I want to know that whole part of the story. How does it play into this whole thing? You know, or is it just a way to titillate me as the reader by giving us some skin and creating some sort of sexual tension somewhere because there isn't any in the book and they feel like they need to do that to tell part of the story. I'm not sure. Or is that just to help display the neuroses of the stepson who is a genius in mathematics and is just kind of an odd character anyway, and it's just one more aspect of him being odd. Not 100% sure on that, but curious that by the end of this that the wife is catering to some of his fantasies or desires. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Curious to see. Clearly, I'll get the other 5 issues to find out how that goes. That's it this week. What are you guys reading? Read those books? Am I wrong somewhere? You think Low is horrible? You think The Humans is the best book that's been written? Let me know. Let me know what you're reading, what you think. Anyway, be checking out your videos. Have a great one, everybody.